Everybody, channel member Brian's in the house. And dun, 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 dun. Let's see right there. There we go. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Wade, Rex, Gary, Diana, Rosalind, Tara, Rosalind. How's New York? Dun, dun, dun. Anyway. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, as they say. Looks like we got a light crowd so far. I think forgot to get the memo out, I guess. Hey, Frank, channel member Frank, good to see you. So we've got on tap today the end of Q3. S&P 500 buyback blackout will be ramping up in the next, well, it's already more than 50%. This was 55% last Friday. Probably approaching 75% this week, and probably be 100% by the end of this week. And what does that mean? It means there is now missing about $5 billion a day in stock buying, and that won't ramp back up until sometime middle of next month in October. You know, a few people have been like, well, JT, there's no required S&P 500 blackout, blah, blah, blah. There is and there isn't, all right? You can argue with me all you want. Most public companies voluntarily black out employees in the know from buying stock, and at the same time, they black out their own stock repurchases until such time as they get through earnings. Hey, Kimberly, my favorite subscriber, is here. And just a reminder, babe, I have to go do that site inspection after I get done here. So speaking of which, I'm not going to be able to hang out with you all forever tonight. I do have to drive a little ways, do an inspection, and then drive back home. So my dad is out of pocket right now and needs me to take care of something. So got to do that after the show here today. So we're going to get ripping here. And we have, like I said, the end of Q3, buyback blackout. We have PCE coming up on, I believe it's Friday. Pop over here, look really quickly. Friday. Yeah, right there. Poor PCE right there on Friday. That's what we got. Friday, September 27th. And guess what? The 30th is the last day of the month. Right there on a Monday. Doesn't that sound spectacular? Then we're into the last quarter of the year. Holy moly, October here already. What the fudge? I mean, we got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's it. Wraps up the year. Elections sprinkled in there in the middle. Man, oh man. Where is 2024 going? Only 75% done, but it feels like it's pretty much in the books. Just about. How's your trading doing? It's time to really evaluate what you've been doing. You've only got 3 months left. 3 months left to make it or break it. Have you been breaking it so far? Do you need to make a change? Seriously, this is a time to reflect on what you've been doing. Can you turn anything around before the end of the year? Remember, nobody's watching out for you but you. Number one, you're the most important. So make sure, just take a moment. Review your trade plans, review your trade notes. You don't have trade notes, trade plans? Maybe it's time to start doing that. Anyway, I'm not really expecting much out of PCE. I do expect softness, and that may be what we're seeing in the market right now is after the FOMC last week, we're just kind of seeing a softness. We're not seeing the enthusiasm to break on out, and it may be due to the lack of constant buying that we usually see during the stock buybacks, and having 500 companies in their buyback blackout may not seem like much, but that's the biggest chunk of money, and just be careful. So we'll take 30 minutes of requests and we'll get there. Wait before you post anything. I don't want it to get lost in the chat. We'll We'll get to that here in just a few minutes. So, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. That means, despite my best efforts, I may never get another prediction right again in the market, which that would be unruly if I was wrong all the time. But, you know, you look at somebody like Jim Cramer and you're like, well, how in the devil is he wrong all the time? You should just like, and then the funny thing is, you know, people are like, oh, if you're wrong all the time, you just, you know, take whatever you're going to say and then do the opposite of that. And then usually that turns out to be wrong too. It's just because it's like you already know you're going to do the opposite. So it's like you picked the wrong thing anyway. So it's kind of funny. So this presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, is not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, hire consult a financial advisor, which is not what I do. If you need help knowing what to trade, you and I probably aren't on the same page. If you need help learning what to trade or how to trade or what button to push, hate to say it, that's I'm probably not for noobs. That's I've come to the cold hard realization. Me and people new at this don't necessarily get along. Anyway, all right, everybody, there you go. Moving on. All right, pop over here. Look at this baby. A sweet chart right here. Jump up. Let's before I jump into all the normal stuff, look at this. Look at this baby. This really looks spicy. Between Inium, the opportunity just to go back to the prior high right here, 85. We're just right here at 55. That's 30 more points up. I'm riding some $60 strike calls out to 2026. And this looks pretty dang spicy right here. Could be rallying all the way up here to 120. Just in the near term, right at that 618 level, I expect to find some resistance around the 60 to 65 area. Maybe. Don't have to. It could just cruise right on through. Keep on cruising. 93, 100, 120. As Sledge said in the chat in Discord. But it could take a while. It may take longer than 2026, as you can see on here. This could take on the 2030s to get all the way up into that 120 area. So near term, long term, it depends on your time frame. And this chart I was showing off to Termite Trading Lab today. Let's just simplify that a little bit. There's a lot going on there. And let me pull over to this one and make it a little cleaner. Check this out. Look what we have going on. Check this out right here. So this is the daily chart. Let's just pop up to the monthly chart. Let me turn off this indication right there. So look at this. We're not even concerned back here what happened in the past. This high right here from 2011 to this low right here, right down here, 2020. Look where we are. Firmly. This is a monthly chart, all right? This is not like a daily chart and this is going to happen in a couple days. We are firmly above the 618. A few people have been like, well, you know, you talk about this $35, $40 target, but then you talk about the potential for something bigger. Here's the something bigger. 60. Right there. Thank you, channel member Jeff, for becoming a channel member. Right there. 72. Right there. 120, 118. Right there. If things get really spicy. And that could be out in 26. Maybe 27. All right. Real spicy. And check it out down here. They're not even... That's odd. We have a giant pullback right there. December 25, January 26, and then ramping on up into 29. So there are futures all the way up to July of 29 right now on silver. Pretty interesting. But the price right there on that forward contract is only 35, 34.75, 34.75. So we're only talking like just a little bit above where we are. We're not talking like 60, 70. It's not like options. All right. Futures show forward pricing, but that's not like we're not talking like it's pricing in 90 in the future. We're just a few bucks higher. That's pretty wild if you ask me. Now these contracts out here won't be liquid at all. Not at all. But there's the potential. When I talk about silver having a giant upside potential, and it doesn't quite show up nearly as cleanly on this chart right here, the monthly SLV doesn't have the history that the silver futures chart has, but not as clean, but right there, 60, 72, 122, all of those potentially on this same chart right here. Could you buy shares? Yeah, you could. That from this current price at 30, that would be a double. That would be a little better than a double. And then this would be like a 4Xer, baby. And it'd be a 2X. This would be like a 4X. That'd be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. That's just on shares, too, we're talking about. So, pretty darn nice. Pretty darn nice right there. And just in case anybody missed it, missed the memo, missed the show, this right here, we talked about this on what date it closed? Like the 19th, it closed above the 618. Right there, that bounce. See that high, that low? The 19th was the candle right there. That one. So the next day, the 20th, I was talking about this and how awesome it was. Had a 91% historical win rate. I was like, well, what are you even talking about, JT? Check this out right here. 91. It's got the current trade in the winner now. 91.67. Profit factor 19. Look at that, baby. 24 total trades. That was pretty smoking hot. That one fired off back there. And today hit the target right there. Dun, 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 dun. Target, baby. I bought calls for $6. And they close out today for greater than $12. $12 plus. So that was more than 100% gain right there. Not too shabby. Talked about it right on the morning monster show with a bonus trade. 24 bars is how long that took. 35 calendar days. Right up to it. Really was a beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. Hopefully somebody got a piece of that. It was really exciting. All right. Moving on. Red list. All right. Touch on some more future stuff. So futures S&P 500 pushing out today. Trying its darndest to break on out. Push on higher. Didn't quite make it above that high from a couple days ago. Right there, just barely. Oh, looks like we pushed above momentarily there. Oh, there it is. There's the high right over there. A little bit. We got to go up a time frame. There we go. Let's turn off that bounce thing. There we are. That's the high I was looking for. Just below it, right there. Just below it. Now it looks like an inverse head and shoulders to me. I don't know about you. That can be an explosive move up right there. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Where is it going to be? If we pop out of there. Could take us right on up here. Oh, look at that. There's the fib line. 58.50. I mean, 58.30. Excuse me. 58.30. That's 5FI. Crossing the 80 line. Cool. Back to ES. Back down to the 15-minute. So we could be looking at a breakout right there. Potential sitting there on the chart. Nice recovery today. I'd like to see it. Up or down, I'd like to see it. This sideways stuff, it's a killer. Real killer. We didn't break down below the level here, and we didn't break out above the alert here. We stayed right in between the alerts all day. Rough trading day. NQ did make a higher high than we had right back over here. This kind of tipped me into being a little bit more favorable to an upside right there. Has that same kind of head and shoulders pattern showing up in there too. Not nearly as big, but it's in there. Looks pretty spicy for a continuation higher if we can get the breakout. Russell, on the other hand, still in a downtrend. Still trending down. Still trending down. That is a downward trending. So, small caps not participating in this last little hoorah. And oil popping up to the daily. That was a fairly strong candle today, but we ended up just right at the consolidation. Right in the same little box we've been in. Gonna have to break out to get through the resistance at the roadmap line. To go on higher. Need to get through that. Right up there. Get through that. My little arrow. Color it in. Gotta get through there. That's the major resistance for oil. And if China turns things around, that could get real spicy real fast. So that's what we got cooking on oil. Whew. That chart's messy. Brent, same situation. Got to get through the roadmap line to go higher here. Look how long that's been beat down. This could finally be the low. This chart may be even more clear than the CL chart. That resistance coming up here, right there. See this break higher than the roadmap line and then rally right up there. Do the test. If we get through, we might go out 150, 160. Very similar to the CL prices. This came up with a truncated low so far. Not my favorite pattern, but maybe that was overdone on that low. Same kind of situation here. We need to break through this right here. Brent and CL not the same thing, but they're going to fly formation. They're going to fly kind of parallel right there. Yeah, not necessarily, Armand. You can eat those words when we might pop. China extreme stimulus came out today. And watch out. This baby can turn on a dime. You might not think it's going to happen, but it'll lead any kind of news by 6 to 12 months. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. And Brent has that same situation. Now we may rally up to that area right there and turn down violently. That's also a possibility on both these charts right there. RB, turn in the lows. That's a potentially finished downside pattern also. Potentially done on the downside. That's the thing. Like when everything looks rosy, it never seems like the party's going to end. And when everything looks kind of bummed out, it seems like things aren't going to turn around. But the market does. It turns when nothing news-wise matches. So it's human sentiment. Diesel fuel, there's not really a compelling reason for gasoline to bounce, except that it's a big, giant measured bounce. That move up, that retrace, holding. That prior resistance is now support. So we need to see this breakout above these levels right over here to go higher. It'd be pretty wild if all of a sudden this got sparky and turned right before the U.S. election. I'm not saying it will. It'd be interesting if that's the way it happens. Heating oil, diesel fuel, potentially turning, but could press lower. Same situation, has the potential to bounce here. It's going to have to make a large upside, break above this to go even higher. That high here, this low here. Break above that 365 would take us on up to $5. Sheesh. That's rough on diesel fuel. In G1, natural gas breaking above. Kind of setting the stage. Setting the stage here. Got intermediate resistance at 330, 350. But the pattern is set up off the lows. It's low, it's high, potential measured bounce. That potential measured bounce takes us up to $3.50, $4. Kind of expect $4. Been talking about that a while. Kind of expect $4 right there. GC pushing out epically higher. De-dollarization going on. There's the world buying gold. Hit that 2680 target finally. Finally. I'm talking about 2680 for months. Finally hit it. We could be hunting 3,000, possibly even 5,000. It'd be an extreme move, but we might be hunting 3,000 to 5,000. Now, I did speculate that once we hit 2680, we may get a retrace. So stay on your toes. Could retrace, could go lower. We may need that to be able to go even higher, but it doesn't have to retrace. It can just keep exploding, climbing the fib ladder higher here. Silver, we already touched on. Copper, Dr. Copper, turning pretty violently today on the China news. That China stimulus news. So, 3 up, 3 down, 3 up. I don't know. Unclear on the next move forward here on Dr. Copper. This, to me, looks best that this was an overexcited B wave, and we may get another revisit of the bottom, but doesn't have to. We've been holding intact these uptrend of lows pretty well so far. A break back above this high would be indicative that we are done on the downside for now, and we're going to push out to new all-time highs on copper. All right, and touching on Bitcoin. Turned around pretty strongly here this afternoon. Nice way to end the day. I'd like to see this break on out, get a bigger run. We need to go to this chart. Get back to the daily chart. Zoomer back up. There's a lot drawn on here, I know. A lot. It's a lot. I was looking for that deeper retrace. We didn't get it. We got a shallow retrace and a pop right up into the resistance. Still finding resistance at that resistance box. Not busting through yet. If we're going to go higher, we got to break through it. It seems like a, well, duh. But sometimes I just have to state the obvious for everybody. Now, if it's a 3-wave up and we're going to get continuation lower, we'll probably pop up, hit that downtrend of highs. You know, these highs we've started back here in March. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Way lower high. We stop at that lower high again, we're probably going to make a lower low. If we can bust through, go cruising on up, make a new high, that's probably it. And we're probably on the breakout run. So it's a very key and crucial zone we're coming up into here on Bitcoin. Now, if we pull back here now, before we get there, we may be able to have enough energy to just bust through. But at this point, something I'm watching very closely. We're consolidating here for 5 days now, 6 days here, 5 or 6 days. All my numbers get blurred together when I bounce from chart to chart to chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 days. We've tried to soften up this zone here. I'd like to see it just bust right on up through. Not even slow down, not even look back. Just one nice pop through right there. Keep on going. There you go. I don't know what part of that looks like Bitcoin lower, but there you go. All right, ETH USD. Bitcoin's on the verge of turning the bottom. Ethereum looks like it probably truncated the bottom. We're probably heading up to test the roadmap line right in that vicinity right there. If we can get through, potential to rally up here. 5,500, possibly 6,500. Had that target up there a long time. Bitcoin probably heading 150, 300,000 eventually. It's 10 to 20x the bottom. And dollar probably going down. Nice big flush today. Next level support here at 99. Then the target down here at 96 that I've looked for 2 years. And possibly going down to the low 90s down here. NKD. Retracing just a little bit. Pop through the roadmap line. Retrace to it. Holds. Turns. Breaks out here. We're probably going up to 44,000 on NKD. All right. Now, the rules of the game. You must type in all caps. 1 ticker per person per request. You must wait for 1 to 2 people to go. If I see you doing a pattern where you're just requesting a ticker after every other person, I'm just going to start skipping you. If you wait for a couple people, then go again, that's okay. I need a full ticker that I can type in TradingView. If you don't know, go pull up TradingView. It's free, and type in your ticker. And if you're going to request a pair, like Forex pair, Bitcoin, crypto pair, I need the whole pair, all caps. Don't just tell me Solana. I don't remember all the crypto tickers. All right, I can't remember all their names and their tickers. So please give me the ticker, and we'll do the best we can do while I'm still here. I'll do at least 30 minutes, and eBay is the first one. So on the daily chart, there's nothing. On the monthly charts, that's where Bitcoin, that's where eBay shines. So this could take a while. And we could reject breaking out. This monthly candle doesn't close until Monday. If we close the monthly candle above the 618, that's the entry on the monthly chart. The target becomes up here, and it can take an indefinitely long period of time to get up there. Now on the daily chart, it looks kind of cooked. Like that's a massive move up without a retrace since February. So that's eBay for you. Hoping a dream. All right. Chat scroll off. I was doing a chart. Link USD is below the roadmap line. 3-wave up. There's the resistance. Right there. Probably going lower. SA. Hey, SA. C-bridge. That looks kind of not bullish. Let's see. That move up. That retrace. That's resistance. Right there. This resistance right there. It's got significant resistance at the 2022 area. Might be good for a pop up there. Then I would expect another retrace. And that's only 3 waves up so far. If it stops right there and turns down, it may make a lower low on SA. NNE. Nano Nuclear has not enough candles to do jack squat with. So that's all the candles I got. Can't do anything with that. That's the bubble pattern, and we pretty much came back down. Now, does it go lower? I don't know. If you don't know what the bubble pattern looks like, Google market psychology or psychology of a market cycle. Right here, we get this enthusiastic move up. We get a consolidation. down from the high, and we get a retrace back near the bottom. This right here, you're like, well, that doesn't look the same until we jump down a time frame, and then you see it very clearly. That move up, that retrace, that move down, right like that. How did I know that it looked like that? Because I've looked at 100 bajillion of these. It feels like over the years, they happen on all time frames. Now, this is not likely to, because it did that, and it's made some lower ones, it might get a little enthusiastic over here and do another one, but it's likely, unless there's some fundamental change in the business, it's not going to break out higher than this high. Let's probably do a lower high, maybe as high as 25, and then come back down again. It's just the way, it's kind of the way it works. You know, we've seen it over here play out several times. Look right there. Pop, right back down, pop, right back down. Took a while for that one to retrace back out. All the way over here. Another pop. This one's playing out. Probably come back down. Had a split in there that messed with the numbers. This one, same situation. Big pop, smaller pop, little baby pop. We can look at lots of these, but that's the bubble pattern. Tends to not be awesome long term. If you get in before the pop, it's great, but you see, it keeps doing the pop too, even on the small scale. It's what they do. All right. CORZ. Again, not enough candles to really do much with. Like, oh, that's a little baby piece of roadmap line. I mean, there's not much to do there because there's not enough candles to do anything with. So I hate to break it to y'all, but when I just don't have any data, there's no chart, there's no repeatable chart pattern to find. That's kind of what I do. I'm a pattern trader. Like, I look for patterns. I have a number of repeatable patterns that I look for. Two main ones. One being a roadmap bounce. That's why the orange line's here. Price comes down, bounces off the roadmap line, then goes an extension. This one probably headed up to this 1670 area right up here. Probably. Yeah, what I would expect. Find some resistance and retrace again. That's a common pattern. We see it. Retrace, bounce up, retrace, bounce up, retrace. It's a very, very common progressive pattern higher. The other pattern I look for is that measured bounce pattern that I was talking about a minute ago, where price does something like this, finds a reversal, and retraces to a level here. That level, when you draw it off the low to the high, happens to be the 618, and then we get continuation like this. And that continuation typically comes up into the 1272 area. If it's bullish on this reversal, it'll be up to the 1618. If it's kind of bearish, it may stop in the lower area down here, 100 to 1272. 1272 coming kind of the common denominator between the two different bullish bearish patterns. So that's how that works. So that's the two patterns I look for. This pattern up here and that pattern I just went through. All right. And AVGO. Oh, looky. Breaking through the resistance. Finally. Target 193. Gold. Looking for Barrick, I'm sure. Not gold the futures or gold the metal. And lots of trouble getting through right there. Sitting at highs. Can it push the extension to 2170 or are we going to retrace? That's the big question. So next upside target right there. Oop, draw a little fat right there. And the retrace down here. And if that breaks, it can go down here. That's what we got. Barrack Mining. Now, if you ask me about a specific, if you're asking me about a trade from a specific time frame, I'm just looking at dailies, and the daily may or may not agree with anything that you may be thinking you're in. So don't get biased by anything I say if it doesn't match the time frame you took the trade on. BMO was in a downtrend, broke above, but still flying parallel. I mean, look, this is kind of funny. Like, you look at this right here, this little arrow I've got on here, right? This right here, kind of parallel. Just copy it right there. Just kind of doing the same thing. It's popped up and still moving down. I don't know. Certainly doesn't look bullish at the moment. We're going to have to be above this orange zone right up here. Significant resistance, topped out. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times we've topped out in that 120, 130 area. You'd be like, well, I can make $10 on the share. Cool. That's not the kind of thing I'm looking for. It could turn into something if we get through that zone. I went a little deep on me for a good measured bounce. So if we break through it, we could confirm we're going higher. And if we get above that orange zone peak, it could be indicative we're going on up to 160, which would be a lot better move from 130 to 160 than from 120 to 130. Let's be careful out there. That's not necessarily the clearest chart I've seen. CF Industries looks like a choppy hot mess of lower highs so far. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Till we break out, I don't know. It doesn't give me the good warm and fuzzies at this point. Now it can reverse fortune very quickly, but look at that right there. That's lower highs, lower highs. We may fart around right here for a few days and go lower again. Something feels unfinished on the downside there. It looks a lot like the bubble pattern too, back here. See how that came down, consolidated, consolidated right here, broke down, consolidating again, can break down. Be careful. Doesn't have to be. Just has that look. It's gotta look to it. And that could have wrapped it up, but I don't know. Not too clear. Let's look at it a different way. That high, that low. There's the resistance we've got to break through. To go higher. Let's CF for you. Oxy, I don't know. It looks pretty bad. Not quite finished on the downside. I would expect, we came up really close. Really close. I was expecting another $1 lower, really. Possibly as low as 43, but 49.32 would have really made me feel good about this being done right there. Had that target there for a while. And ALB, I did this one this morning. Looks pretty bad. Resistance at the roadmap line up here at 100. And next target down at 38. Way on down there. Potential that's done, but it's not signaled it's done yet on the downside. Inium, didn't I do that already? I did. I talked about it already. The daily chart resistance coming up right here at the 618 level. Right there. And Netflix. At the target, probably going to retrace. Could go higher, 768, 842. That played out. That trade is done. That was the trade. I mean, it did everything I expected. Got to the target. Cha-ching. We're there. 729, 768, possibly 842. But I would expect a retrace before we got 768. It just doesn't tend to, I mean, sometimes we get a little overexcited on the upside, but then we get a deep retrace. So watch out. We hit the upside already. The high probability trade is done for Netflix. Burlington Coat Factory is at the target. See this consolidation over here? That's where we are now. Got to get through that to be able to go retest the high. And it may need a retrace to the roadmap line to do it. May come back down here. We can go up and retest the high. That's Burlington for you. GDXJ. The junior minus. Nice performance. That high, that low. We're at the 618. If we can close above it, could set the stage for a move in higher. It's a bigger time frame trade. Could take well into next year to get there. Possibly the year after. I think we're on a larger cycle for gold. Finally, potentially reversing a lot of this stuff here. Not the cleanest pattern, but that's kind of set up for 49. Also, J&J, still in the downtrend. Yep. Still in the channel. Nothing bullish about that. Still in the channel. Yep. Don't expect anything out of J&J. Kava needs a retrace to the roadmap line at some point. Would be very careful. I'd be careful chasing this higher. That played out. That bounce right there played out all the way to the 272. 141 on the upside, but the higher we go, the more violent the retrace is going to be. Expect us to fill the gap at a minimum and potentially get back to the roadmap line. That's Kava for you. You can agree or disagree. It's fine. That's what makes a market. Just doing my analysis. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't even be involved in that. It's just my AGQ. Ultra. This is leverage. Be careful on leverage instruments. Don't always follow patterns. Let me back over the corner, out of the way. Has potential to rally up here. And then the bigger pattern. The much bigger pattern. And went off the rails there. You see, I follow and draw on these things for. We've been doing 30 minutes of awesome for, I guess next month will make 3 years. We've been doing this every week. I only missed like 1 week, I think, in 3 years. Crazy. AGQ has this potential. Like if silver got really spicy, 52, 90, that'd be pretty wild. Pretty wild. I am long calls on AGQ, just so you know. And not trying to be biased, but I am long calls on AGQ. Foot Locker. Tried to break above, hit the resistance in that gap, and retraced. I'm just going to blow away what I've said at the past here. Turn down right where I would expect it to. So we've had this low, this high. Nice measured bounce. Cool. But we retraced. That low, that high. Another measured bounce. Cool. No continuation so far. It's a nested measured bounce. Potential to rally up in this area right here. Going to have to break above here to do it. And the current move. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance right there. That high, that high, that high. Not looking sharp. If we're going to do the bullish thing, but this could, it's lower highs. Still lower high. This would be a kind of a gamble that you're betting it for it to break on up higher. It's got another gap fill sitting there. And two gap fills on top of each other. I don't know. That's probably why I haven't put any risk on that one. It has a nice pattern, but the gaps and stuff just make it look unlikely to work out. Probability not in my favorite. I like to stretch the probabilities. Like that XLY trade worked out pretty nice. NEM worked out really nice. The NEM I bought here. I bought here. I loaded up. I went up $60 calls in 2026. So I'm not even in the money yet. I bought $60 calls. I paid around $1 a piece for those calls. I bought hundreds of those calls. You're like, wait, if you bought hundreds of those calls, you're probably up like 600, 700%. Yeah. I'm up like $100,000 on that trade or more. I don't know. I don't know how many hundreds of calls I have. 200 calls, maybe. I know my chunk of 50 is up $33,000. I think I have 200 of them. That's pretty nice. If it gets up here, it'd be really nice. If it gets up to 85, prior high, really, really nice. That's the kind of opportunity I bought right there. Was it a sure bet? No. It was a measured bounce on the daily chart or the weekly chart. Another one I did like this. Take a trip back in memory lane here. This right here. Did I buy here? No. I didn't buy there. I waited. So we did this. This chart. It's better. Non-log. I bought right here. Now, was it $15? No. That's prior, this is after the 10 for 1 split. So it was $150. $150 a share. I bought here, bought shares on this measured bounce. These are powerful upside potentials. I sold up here. Like, oh, JT, you missed out on that giant upside. Yeah, too bad. That wasn't what I was playing for. I played for here to here. That was a double. That was pretty good on straight shares. That was a high probability pattern. So, know where you're at. All right, AGQ. AGQ might work out, but it might fail. Footlocker might work out, but it's got a lot of stuff working against it. Like these gaps, not the best. So I like to stack the probability in my favor, not just go after the ones that like have some problems. So I might, sometimes I put a contract on something that's got some problems just to keep an eye on it. But when I go big, like I am in silver and NEM right now, it's because the stars are kind of aligned. So UEC still below this resistance, and I'm not convinced it's going higher. $9 is the target on the upside. That's 50% higher, I guess. Not my bag. Low price stuff doesn't always follow the patterns either. That's low price stuff. Are equities under $10. Doesn't count cryptos or futures. Alrighty. And AAL. Still looks bearish. Been talking about this. That's under the roadmap line. That still looks bearish. Nothing changed from last week. KO. Oh, nice. Hit a number somewhere. KO. Consolidating up here. Next extension would be 76 if it's going to do it. May retrace. Come back to the roadmap line. Would kind of make sense. Mara. So we're sitting here under the roadmap line, which is bearish, but we're above the support. So sideways. Sideways last week. Sideways this week. Sideways. Sideways is what I expect. Not going to change until we break out or break down. Break down, break out. As long as we're in between, sideways is the expectation. Nothing changes. All right. MSFT. Turn down at the resistance. That may come back down right there before it can bounce. If it doesn't hold here, come down there. Simple as that. Litecoin, LTC, UST. Let's just clear this off. So what does that look like to you? Oh, cool. That was really cool. Fudge. Go back up there. No. Hate it when it does that. What the heck? That's cool. It cleared all my... Come on now. I like how it don't give you an option to reload your... Messed it up. Let's see. I didn't save it, so let's see if it'll reload. There we go. Sometimes you gotta zoom up. So, here's what I see on Litecoin. That looks impulsive down. This looks corrective up. That kind of made a high very similar to the prior high. This looks more like a first move down, a retrace. And we may have unfinished business to the downside. That's what Litecoin looks like right now. And that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to get a fifth down. Oh my gosh. Right there's the target. Easy. Easy on that one. Now on the smaller time frames, it could reverse. It's going to have to break some out of this junk here to move up on a retrace, and it could go higher, but significant resistance right there to doing so. That's the bigger time frame and the daily chart right there. And ADVE. I try to come out these and leave any biases alone. I do hold Litecoin long. So here's Adobe. This moved down, this retraced, lower high. This looks to me very possible, like set up to get a continuation of this move off of this high. This looks like a 1-2. Resistance there. That 3. May go down here. There's also the potential for this to go higher, but kind of looks like it may go lower, and this will be the next move. This move can come all the way down here and then retrace and finish up. Kind of expect it to, oh cool, remind me later. Kind of expect it to finish this up. But on the other side, if we can break above this high, go on to extensions higher. That's the long and the short of it on Adobe VST. Maybe like, where do you, some of the analysis looks crazy. Oh, look at that, played out upside potato. Expect a retrace now. That went right to the target. 120, possibly 140, but back to the roadmap line would be what I expect. And Costco. I don't have anything on Costco, I can tell you right now. Like, this is so far extended, there's nothing on the upside. Retrace at some point till it does. I got nothing. No high probability anything for Costco. CMG, resistance here if we get through it. 72. If we don't, watch out below. Watch out below. That moved down, that retrace, that moved down, put it at 41. And Tesla. And still didn't break out. There's the resistance. We spent 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, 6 days trying building this resistance. Didn't get through it today. If we can, probably gonna cruise up to 350 area right up here. Would be my expectation. Possibly as high. I've long held a $500 target, even before we made this high back here. Long held a $500 target. Just didn't expect to retrace all the way back down to 100 before we got to 500, but hey, sometimes you gotta wait for it. I'm long shares, TSLA, and I got a couple shares of Tesla. And looks like the breakout, it's a potential breakout, but it's not confirming yet. It's got the first confirmation, but we don't have the continuation. And the pattern here, not strong. 13 trades, 61%. Not strong for getting continuation. But can always change changes behavior in the future. LITE. It doesn't have a statistically significant population, so I'm still long light from the trade back here that I did probably right there, February. Still expecting the 77 target. I have 66 target and 77 target. Still long those calls. Got a little more violent than I hoped for, but still the same targets, even with the extra violence on the retraces. Yum China was on the market movers list this morning. We've got this resistance right here. Get above it. Target's up there at 146. If we don't, probably going lower. Just below the roadmap line, or just right on the roadmap line, is not bullish. So I don't like that consolidation. It's not my favorite. That's why I'm not in it. FCX. Oh, nice. Close above the 618. That sets the odds. We're probably going to go, we could go up to 57.84. Looking at is not a very statistically, it's 25 trades, so pretty close to population. and it says fails almost as much as it's 50-50 odds. It's a coin flip, basically. It's not a very good pattern follower. So 50-50 odds that we're going to go up to here or fail out. Flip the coin, baby. Flip that coin. Heads or tails? Be careful. I don't know. FCX, it's burned me in the past, so I'm leery of trading it. It's kind of like on my, I have a do not trade list that includes Lulu and Meta. Every time I trade those, I lose money. It's like every time. Like, it doesn't matter. I try a new system, trade them, lose money. Doesn't matter. Those two, I lose money consistently. This one, right close to being on that list. I just don't take I don't see very many opportunities on this. And you can see why. It's kind of like, when you look at the statistics here, the pattern that JT uses is a 50-50 right there. Doesn't tend to work out on FCX, so no wonder I don't like that one. Anyway. Dun, 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 WTAY. Workday turned down at resistance. Be careful. That is not bullish. Price action, that may go lower. Right there. The market's back open. Futures are back to kicking. And yeah, so Workday, if it breaks below the roadmap line, we may see it go lower. That was a good. And there's my support right there for Workday. We get below the roadmap line, we can see it come right down there. $1.80, $182 is the target right now. VGR. So I concur. Do you concur? I concur. The price looks like it may go lower. VGR stuck in a sideways. Significant resistance to breaking out of that top here. Might go back to the bottom at 8. And that's all I got to see. Zilla Group still looking for the target up here. 80, 75, and 90. I'm riding a call. It's very profitable right now, up 100-something%, 130, 140%. And it was not a small. I was looking at it, I was like, I thought I put a small risk on that. Nope, I put like it's got like $1,000 on that one. So I'd like to see this rally on up. I bought not a cheap call. I think I bought a 2026 call. Looking for this to rally on up to 90. Might be up 300%. I'll probably book it right there. AMD, not ZMD. AMD, fingers on the right keys. Still the downtrend, resistance and support. Nothing changed. AA. All right. Got an uptrend of lows. Kept that intact. Made a initial move up, a deep retrace. Neither one looks better than the others. That's potential 5 down, which is not incredibly bullish. Actually gives me caution because that was 3 up. Very clear 3 up. 5 down, retrace, hold the 618. We're at a crucial resistance here. I'll probably push it on up to right there, that prior swing. If we hold this area and don't break out higher than this high right here at 47, 45, 45, 47. Get the numbers in the right order. 45, 47. If we don't get higher than that high right there in that vicinity on this push, this can get continuation lower than this move right back here. This number right here. Probably going to go lower in a big way. That would be what I'll watch out for on Alcoa. GILD. Lower highs and a big sideways. Like, what? I mean, Do you want to get involved in something that hasn't really gone anywhere in 9 years, 8 years? Yeah, we can go back even further, 8 years. I mean, nothing tells me that's going anywhere. Like, it's just been hanging. You know, well, I think it's done now. That's lower. That's a downtrend of highs right now. Can definitely go lower. I'd be looking for something else. Like the opportunity, just not. It's kind of like people wanting to trade AT&T or something like that. Like, you know, why? Like, they just hadn't gone anywhere for a long, long time. Johnson & Johnson, like, I mean, it showed up as a potential trade, but that's a downtrend, and it's been in this downtrend for 2 years, so it may continue that downtrend. A, B, and B. There's the long and the short of it. Short of it, the long of it, and we're stuck in the middle of it, right below the roadmap line. Now, could it turn? Yeah, it could. It's below the roadmap line, below that resistance. It's kind of at the bottom of it, but in the stuff, and it kind of looks like it may go lower because this moved down and this retrace looks kind of three wavy correction coming up. Usually means we're going on down and make a lower low before we find a bottom. And snow, still not confirmed a bottom. I keep moving my alerts around. It's super awesome. Love it. Still not confirmed a bottom. Why not? Because it hasn't. When's it going to? I don't know. When it does, hadn't confirmed a bottom. Still soft. May go down to 90. That's what that looks like. I bought one share. Why did I buy one share? Because I said I was going to buy a share at this when it hits 110. It breached it. I bought a share. I have one. When will I add? When it makes a bottom. Maybe down here. Maybe if it makes a reversal pattern that looks like something. Keep moving alerts. And undo does not undo moving alerts. Need to lock them or something. Not even a lock. Cool. So I need that to flush on down or set up a reversal pattern. Getting above the roadmap line would be a good start. So far, we don't have it. We don't got it. CRWD. Into the roadmap line with a 3-wave up. It looks like a corrective move up. Very cautious here. Could that be the bottom? It could. Could rally on up to 348, fill the gap, and then turn down again. Not too good. Significant resistance right there. Now, if that was the bottom, the potential for the next move is up here like 600. Got to get through the roadmap line is the first confirmation. Got to get above the 618. Next confirmation, got to fill that gap above that. Next confirmation, and then break out. And then we're probably on the path to 600. Just all those things, you know. Got to get through here and through here. And it wasn't a high probability thing for me. It's kind of like the difference between Inium and this, you know. It's like, you know, just I didn't like all the stacked up resistance to prove it on the upside, so I didn't take that trade. No FOMO. There's plenty of other opportunities out there. Plenty of ways to make tons of money other places in the market. PLTR coming up to the all-time high. It's at the 618 of the last retrace there. Could rally up to 45.80 prior high. I'd be on the watch out. If we reject that, it may retrace kind of violently. You see what we did last time we touched that area. Pretty violent. 60% retrace. And looky. Just want to, I like pointing this pattern out because people, for whatever reason, don't seem to believe it. Happens over and over. That rally up. Consolidation. That one actually went lower right there. For whatever reason, people just don't see it. And this could be, now this could have flushed it out and this actually be positive, but be careful. I bought calls here on this, like I stayed in this one a long time. I bought calls here. I think they were, I want to say $9 strike calls. Held them to this right here. Sold them right there on that pop. And I was waiting for a retrace because that looked like 5 up and we would get a retrace, and we never got a retrace. So I never got back in. Not chasing it. I think eventually we'll get a retrace. Has opportunity to come all the way back down in this $14 area. Still, to this day. Non-long mode could come back to 20. There you go. That's PLTR for you. Good afternoon, Tom Guzzy. TMF. Moving stuff that I don't mean to move. Find a resistance. If we can break out, target might be up here. Let's measure bounce target. Could find resistance in between. Doesn't look terribly high probability to me. It's 3x leverage stuff. Be careful. And that was a reverse split. It's not generally typically bearish. I don't typically trade things that have reverse splits. Just not typically. It's kind of like a do not trade list or like giant negative factor list when they have reverse splits. So Lulu, there's the resistance and support like down here, 120. I can get it right on what it's gonna do. I just can't make a trade on it. And UAL. Significant resistance right there. That's lower high. 3 lower highs in a row. 4 if you want to count this one. Be careful, it may turn down. We do have an uptrend. Lows cooking right here. Can just stay in this zone indefinitely for the foreseeable future. Way longer than you can stay solvent in a trade. Amazon still long that trade. Fired off back here a few days ago. Target is still up here at 209. Still. For those of you not knowing what trade we're talking about, there it is. It kicked off right here. That day, September 12th. We're just riding. Ride or die. Statistics on this 22 trade. Man, this is not all that bad right here. Look, check it out. 22 trades in the past. 95% of the time it works out. A 21 profit factor. Usually takes 20 days on average. That was weird. Did not follow my mouse on that one. So 20 days. This is average. Could take 60. Could get to 80. 20 days puts us right out here. So that's October 9th. 40 days. Twice as long as the average takes us to November 7th. And 60 days. Takes us right there to December 6th. 85 calendar days. You may be like, what? Wait. if it says 20 days on average, why would you say 85 days? It's bars, right? Number of bars. The candle maker is not open on the weekend, as they say. I think Dawn said that the other day. So we don't make candles on the weekends. So that's why it takes longer. I am in that trade with long calls. Apple 3 years. I don't know what you said 3 years too, babe. That is a downtrend in Apple. Be careful till we break above. Can we downward? KO. Resistance. May retrace. OKTA. Ukta. Sitting sideways. Wouldn't expect anything. TQQQ. Still set to go higher. There's the resistance. Above that, target's at 92. Right there. And the average trading days. This actually has a really sweet win rate too. Like at 17 trades, a little less, like half of a statistic population, but 94, 24, 38 days on average, which fired off back here. 38 average puts us here, and twice that long somewhere out here in December. There you go. That's TQQQ for you. And we already discussed SLV, GOGL, still a downtrend, stuck at the roadmap line. Coin, still a bearish underneath the roadmap line. It's going to have to get up to 238 to go bullish. LEN is at targets, probably going to retrace back to the roadmap line, back around 162. VRT is stuck at the resistance. If we can get above it, probably going to go cruising up to 118. And MRK looks pretty bearish under the roadmap line and may go down to this 94 area right here. And JNUG, type in the right order, has the potential to rally up to this 57 to 60 area right there. Non-log mode. And WBD is Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't think Warner Brothers is buying Capital One. That doesn't sound correct. Capital One's supposed to buy just, you've got your, no, Capital One COF is supposed to buy DFS. That Discover. There's a merger acquisition in play for that. You've got your wrong discovery. Discover. Anyway, Uber is pushing up through the resistance. So 86 comes into play there after the bounce. And UAL. There's Dawn. Let's talk about you a minute ago. And UAL is stuck in this consolidation here. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, I think Visa slammed back to the roadmap line very quickly. The investigation into monopolistic practices in debit card came up just shy of the 296 target. And MasterCard, look at that, hitting the target. May retrace also. BA support down here. Hunting support. Might we push down to 145? Possibly. It's in the zone to form a reversal. Just watching. If we can find support right in here, next potential big move might be all the way up here. Crazy numbers. Somewhere in 600 land. Crazy numbers. Hunting that support right there. And you may be like, why do you flip to logarithmic on some charts and not on others? It depends on where the levels are being held. And right now, that's logarithmic for BA. For BABA, right here, doesn't really matter. Nice pop. The potential upside up here, 180. CCJ already did. Snow already did. And that's the end of the list. All right, everybody, I'm going to go. We got less than 70 people on the stream. So have a great day. Have a great evening. I'll be back live 9:15 in the morning, where I will go through what's popping and what's dropping in the pre-market and give you my bias for the day, probably some bonus trades. And thanks for coming, everybody. Give me a like if anything I said was helpful, beneficial. I'll see you in the morning. Bye for now.